feeling like, how did I get here? And from the time I left the building and from the time I got on the train until the time I got home, it was like, thank God I'm here. Like literally. And that was maybe like a 20-minute ride. Now, I wish I could say that it was smooth, that whole train ride. It was some ugly tears cried. It was some yelling. It was some screaming. It was some why.
You weren't bitter, like you weren't upset, like why did she let me go?
I wasn't, you know what? Initially, I was bitter. As I was taking that elevator down and I was walking out, I was bitter. But then I instantly remembered whose I was. And I remembered the scripture that God had given me in 2016, leading into 2017, which was Isaiah 43, 18 and 19. And it said, forget the former, do not dwell in the past. Do you see I'm doing a new thing? Do you not perceive it? I'm making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. So instantly, I'm like, do you not see it? So I felt God like yelling at me, like, for real? You tripping? You gonna be mad about
Here it
this?
is. Right.
Didn't I give you this?
What we've been talking about.
So I think what was pivotal for me is to the preparation before the right? So I was already kind of broken in that situation.
Yeah.
So before it was even necessary to focus on the I was already preparing for that. Yeah. So it's kind of like when you know a storm is coming.
Right.
When you know it's coming, you can prepare. And so internally, I think I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know when.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think that was the piece, is that I couldn't hold on to the bitterness. I couldn't be angry, because if I did, that would stunt my growth.
Right.
And so I needed to grow.
You needed to grow. Yeah. Only difference in my case. You can. Yeah, go ahead.
And so I think that, so I definitely agree with what Lexi is saying. But I think for those of us who, well, now I feel like I'm a lot more spiritually stronger than I was going through.
Right.
And so in the midst of, I felt like, okay, God, now what? And like, why are you throwing this on me again? Like, at what point is my struggles over?
I agree.
And it wasn't just the, starting over with the marriage, but it was like everything that kind of led to the divorce. And it was like the losing of my grandparents and like, the losing of financial support because I wasn't working. And so it was like, so how, now I'm out here like completely out of like financial support. I'm out of emotional support. I'm drained. Like, it's like I'm about to just get this life insurance policy because it's cheaper.
Right.
And so, in the midst of, it's like, okay, God, help me through, the whole, I'm playing every Kirk Franklin Pandora station I can create. And
I love it.
Yes.
And so it carried me through, but it carried me up until the next anger point of like, and I don't believe this joker said this, and this. And so like in the midst, I'm like, okay, God, you gonna pull me through,
but
you gonna pull me through like right now. And so like, I feel like for me, I needed immediate
relief. Yeah.
Like, I see it like 3 times, God, if you listening.
Right.
Oh, he only clicked them twice, so he ain't really listening. So let me go in and do what my mind's telling me I need to do.
Yeah.
T, let me ask you this, because your story, I'm telling you, it is really just speaking to some of the feelings that I had. Were you ever upset with God that he allowed your marriage to fail, that everything just kind of crumbled on you? How'd you feel about that towards God, allowing that to happen to you?
Man, I was angry.
Right, you was angry.
And I can't sugarcoat it. And I mean, it's not even with just my marriage, but like my work experiences. With my adult relationships with my mom, and the missing of my dad and my grandparents have gone, and starting over with any aspect that I had. I'm starting over now in life.
Right.
And like right now, I'm on this new path of life because I'm coming out of a addiction to pain pills. And I have been sober now, thank God, since October 2016.
Yes.
I had to redefine as a person away from all of the identities that sustain me. But I also had to read Christian woman and what does that look like. And to know that I'm nowhere near perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Nowhere near perfect at all. My mouth is a lot reckless, and God is still working on me on that. But I've come a long way with anger and my questioning of God.
Right.
Like, how many struggles do I have to go through? How many times do I have to be raped, God?
Right.
How many times do I have to be sexually molested, God? Ignore God.
Did he answer? Did he answer? Because
I'm overqualified.
did he answer any of those questions? T, did he answer any of those questions to your wives?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He answered and he gave me a man that loves me despite my flaws.
Okay.
He is who rides or die for me and my daughter, and he answered my prayer with my ex-husband because me and him are really good friends, more friends now than we were when we ever was married.
Right,
we
right.
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 I'm causing a disturbance in our child's life.
Right.
I have that I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do in life. And I am more aware of who I am now that I'm not an addict. And I'm able to understand my mom now because she is an addict. And so I'm able to see things through a different lens of why she acts the way that she does.
When I
answered just not when I asked him to.
Yeah.
You have so much revelation. When I tell you, we didn't take the same path, but our journeys are so similar because God, I was asking him for the period of time where my business wasn't doing well and my marriage was failing and Lord only knows what my kids probably was doing. I'm just being honest. It just looked like a real grim time. And I remember just asking God, when is it going to be over? You know, how much longer do I have to endure? Right. I felt like I was in a pit. That's how I felt. I felt like I was in a pit. I felt like I had put myself in that pit. So I felt guilty. And I remember God reminding me that I was innocent, that it wasn't nothing that I did wrong.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes we'll think, well, what did I do wrong? You know, why is this happening to me? And one of the things that you brought up is that when you've come out of that situation, you're now able to understand somebody who's in it. And God reminded me, he was like, how are you going to help somebody if you never experienced what they went through?
Right.
If you never had a hopeless night, if you never knew how this bill was going to get paid, if you never knew how your marriage was going to get healed, if you never knew how to rely on me, how you going to tell somebody how to get through a dark season?
Well, I think that's the piece that is always interesting about the test, is the fact that it's the testimony that and a lot of times we want whatever it is, fame, fortune, whatever it is, we want it.
It's like,
but we don't want to do the work to get to it.
We want to go through the wilderness.
And I'm saying, so as I back up a minute, so it's not that it was just so easy. It's just when you've gone through. So what's supposed to happen in your spiritual walk too is you get stronger and stronger each step of the way.
Thank God.
So we're talking about a year ago what happened, but there's so many things that led up to that. We don't have enough time to get into it.
Right.
But I think it's important for you to find comfort in knowing that the more things that you go through, because they don't stop, right? Yeah. Each test just becomes stronger and stronger. True. And that's supposed to happen. God says that. True. If you're going to keep following me, if you're going to keep doing my will and my service, you're going to go through. You are
not exempt.
You have to go through. If he can get nailed, you
are not exempt.
If we're in the Lenten season. I was exempt. We in the Lenten season.
God. I was like, God, I got a t-shirt line, I got a boutique, I'm out here praising and worshiping.
And he and thank you. We need you to take that to the next level. Level up.
Why am I in the wilderness?
Because he said I need you to level up.
Why is my marriage being tested? Why is my faith being tested? Why is my finances being tested? Why am I being tested?
Why is exactly? And I think for me, what the biggest piece was after dealing with a failed marriage,
right?
After dealing with traveling around and realizing that the reason why I chased so many positions was because I was running away from who I really was.
Right.
After choosing different ways to self-medicate, simply because, to relieve that suffering, because I didn't want to deal with the face-to-face. Right. I think you get to a point where you do so much of the why and you do so much of the going through that at a certain point you're just like, okay, you know what? I gotta succumb to what this is,
right?
And it's so relieving to say I failed. Right. I failed. Okay, now what? I failed. So let's
go ahead. Go ahead, T. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I look at life kind of like a job, and so it's kind of like all of us get up and we go to work.
Right.
And so at the end of the pay period, you're going to get a check. And so, if you don't go to work, you don't get a check.
You don't get a check.
And so life is the same way. If you don't go to work, you're not going to get the benefit of not working.
Yep.
You're going to get exactly what you put into it. And sometimes that's nothing. And it's not, sometimes, you know, I sit back and I look at people who have kids. And
Right.
things like, you don't even take care of your kids.
Yeah.
And here I am wanting another kid.
Yeah.
And I can't have one. Or, you know, I'm working all these hours and trying to make ends meet, but you're sitting on a system that's paying you to do nothing, but you have the latest and the greatest of everything. But then I have to sit back and say, you know, that's not on me to pay attention to.
Yeah,
Because the enemy will distract you. Yeah. He will distract you and have you looking in the opposite direction of where God would have you to go. And one thing, Lex, that you're taking the conversation forward, which is where I want to go, because once we go through the wilderness, right? Once we have and we go through the motions and we feel some type of way, you do have to succumb to, okay, I failed. Okay, this did not work out. And it's such a relief just having that awareness. This did not work. That does not, you know, dictate who I am or what I'm capable of doing. That does not devalue my ideas and my worth that I bring to the world. And that was a realization that I had to have. And I think for those who are watching and who are listening, we want to try to get through that sooner. Like, whatever you coming out of the wilderness, you might come out as a wounded soldier, but it's like, how do you come out sooner? One thing you said is just having that, you know, that okay with that it happened.
We don't fail well. We do not fail well as people. And what society has taught us not to fail well, right? Because if you do fail, you're going to be ridiculed. I mean, look how, and I'm not picking on you, but look how much courage you wanted to build up just to expose yourself in the raw. Right? Because when we do things live and then live in color and for reality, there's judgment that can be faced. Am I going to do it right? Am I going to do it wrong? Are people going to watch? Are people going to ridicule? But the reality is we're meant to live our truth. We're meant to live our truth. I'm reading this book now by Dr. James Jones. Well, I just finished it, I should say, and it's called I'm All Right. And it's about his evolution and the way he was able to overcome child abuse and how he went through this horrible, horrific experience with child abuse. But on the other side, he's coming out as a better person, as a better man, as a better father, because he started to realize late in his 40s, this is what I'm dealing with. This is the reason why. And so while I suffered certain experiences as a child that wasn't relative to abuse, maybe more sexual assault related, what I started finding is that there are so many things manifesting themselves in my life today that I didn't realize came from back then.
So, but then I think that's important though too, is to not neglect your story. Especially those parts, I mean, that whether they brought pain or joy, those are still like those pivotal moments. And even coming out of my wilderness season, I mean, I designed 4 more t-shirts, and one is called Resurrected. Because I felt like, you know, God resurrected me. He resurrected my family. He resurrected my confidence. He resurrected my faith. And that was the last thing. I'm telling you, I literally wrote a letter to God because I was so upset with him. Like, me and him had a problem. I had a problem, Jesus. You know I had a problem. I ain't like what you did to me. But it was for good reason, right? It was for good reason. And it was like in the wilderness now you have that wisdom. So, and one thing you were talking about, when we come up against that next thing, you know, I'm more resilient, right? I'm still maybe not have as much courage as I would like to have, but again, we talked about that courage and that confidence because now I'm going to a new level. So God is saying, I need you to have that confidence because I'm taking you to a new level where you is no longer in existence, but I'm going to need you to believe in yourself to get through to that next level. So T, do you have any just anything final that you want to say before I kind of move on to some tips just to kind of help the audience hopefully get through their wilderness to their wisdom season a lot sooner, if at all possible?
I just want to say, that it's not over, and I feel like that, for me, I went through a hard depressive state of mind for a long time with everything that kind of happened. And I had to give myself permission to heal.
What you say? Y'all hear that? Give yourself permission to heal.
And with that permission to heal, it allowed me to, dust myself off and say, I'm not sitting in this pit of depression anymore.
There you go.
Depression is only making me sit longer in the pit of hell.
Yep.
And I had to dust myself off and say, you know what, I'm